Open your boxes and spread out the parts. You need 16 screws, 10005716. For adjustable feet, 10005757. For shelf clips, 10005835. And 2 wall brackets, 114,664. If you lost the hex key, 100092. Already, just stop now. Read the warnings about crushing injuries. I'm not visiting you in the hospital because you're too lazy to use a stud finder. Locate the 4 vertical leg sections. Take the threaded adjustable feet, part 10005757, and screw them into the pre-drilled holes at the bottom of each leg. Thread them in by hand until they are seated. It's a simple screw, not a complex engine rebuild, though I suspect even this might challenge your limited mechanical aptitude. Don't cross-thread them. Line up 2 legs with the horizontal side crossrail. Ensure the screw holes are perfectly aligned, and insert 2 10005716 screws through the rail into the legs. Use the hex key 100092 to tighten them firm. I shouldn't have to tell you this, but the side with the shelf adjustment slots needs to face inward, you absolute novice. Pay attention. Now, take the long back support rails and align them with the side frame you just built. Use screws 10005716 to secure the rails to the rear legs. Hold the pieces perpendicular. If the frame looks like a rhombus instead of a rectangle, that's because you're rushing. Gravity doesn't care about your excitement to finish. It only cares about structural integrity. Attach the remaining side frame to the other end of the back rails using 4 more 10005716 screws. The unit should now be able to stand on its own 4 feet. If it falls over and hits you, that's nature's way of saying you should have hired me. Make sure all 8 screws in the frame are tight before moving on. Slide the bottom shelf into position between the 4 legs, resting it on the lower rail tabs. Align the screw holes on the shelf edges with the holes in the vertical leg posts. This part requires basic spatial awareness, which I realize is a lot to ask of someone who probably struggles with a push door, but do your best. Insert 2 10005716 screws through the shelf into the legs, as indicated in Step 4 of the manual. Tighten them with your hex key. If the holes don't line up, your frame isn't square. Don't force the screw or you'll strip the threads and end up with a pile of scrap metal. Take a breath and align it properly. Lower the large top panel onto the 4 legs. The corners of the panel should wrap over the tops of the leg posts. Ensure all 8 screw holes, 2 at each corner, are visible through the pre-drilled openings. If you put it on upside down, I'm retiring. Look for the finished surface. It should be facing the ceiling. Drive 8 10005716 screws into the corners to lock the top panel to the frame. Do not tighten any of them fully until all 8 are started. This is basic carpentry 101. If you tighten one side completely, the other side won't line up. It's called physics. Look it up sometime when you aren't ruining furniture. Grab the 4 shelf clips, part 10005835. Insert them into the rectangular slots in the vertical legs at your desired height. They must hook in and snap downward to be secure. If you put them at different heights, your shelf will be slanted. I know you're used to things being crooked in your life, but let's try for a level surface here. Tilt the middle shelf and slide it into the frame diagonally. Once it's inside, level it out and lower it onto the 4 clips you just installed. It should sit flush. If it wobbles, check your clips again. I'm starting to think I should have charged you just to record this narration, given how much hand-holding you need. Place a spirit level on the top panel. If it's not level, and let's face it, your floor is probably as uneven as your haircut, reach down and rotate the adjustable feet, 10005757, clockwise or counterclockwise. Adjust them until the bubble is centered. If you don't own a level, use a marble. If you don't own a marble, use your head. Get the wall brackets, 114664, and the plastic spacers. These are not optional decorations. These prevent the unit from tipping over and crushing your dignity further. Place the bracket against the rear rail, as shown on page 13. Measure the distance from the wall accurately. Measure twice, drill once. Or in your case, measure 4 times and pray. Push the unit against the wall and mark the hole locations through the brackets. Move the unit aside so you don't drill into the metal like a total amateur. If you have drywall, use anchors. If you have studs, use wood screws. IKEA doesn't provide them because they don't know what kind of cardboard your house is built from. Move the Kolbjoern back into place and drive your screws through the 114,664 brackets into the wall anchors. If this unit moves when you pull on it, you failed. Tighten it until it's rock solid. This is the only thing standing between you and a very expensive trip to the emergency room. Don't mess it up. If you are stacking this on a cabinet, follow the instructions on page 15. Otherwise, take the plastic plugs, 10005690, and pop them into the unused holes on the top panel. It hides the evidence of the hardware and makes it look like a professional built it. We both know the truth, but at least your guests will be fooled. We're done.